Keeping the best in Ohio. Does Ohio State not care about in state Ohio talent anymore? We're going to discuss coming up on Scarlet N Great. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We got two guys in the 2020 class, Trey McNutt, Jackson. We got a safety and we got a running back, respectively. Two Cleveland boys. Maybe the momentum is swinging away Buckeyes on this one, so it begs us to ask, do Buckeyes just straight up not care about the in-state recruiting anymore, taking precedent, winning with 3 and 4 star talent inside of Ohio? You know, the Tressel Ball days. You give me all the guys right here from Ohio. The Maurice Claret, of course, great talent. James Laurinaitis, AJ Hawk, Boom Heron. We go back to those guys where we can just win with Ohio guys, Ted Ginn, et cetera, et cetera. Or is the strategy now changing? I want to hear your thoughts. Keep the best in Ohio. Yes or no? Let me know in the comments if you think that it is an absolute must to keep the best players in Ohio on the Ohio State roster to make them priority to get them in the recruiting class. Let's start with who we got a look at from Shaker Heights. Trey McNutt's and number one safety in America. Shaker Heights, that East Cleveland side. Also close to Glenville High School. We all know is a Buckeye recruiting hotbed. Sometimes areas over there in the east side of Cleveland, which is not, I live in the far western suburbs of Cleveland. Actually, East Cleveland, a little dicey over there, right? That's where Coach He just got carjacked last summer, I believe it was, or shortly after the season, I think, doing a little recruiting trip. So Shaker Heights star Trey McNutt, number one safety in America, and there may be some trending away. If you go down, list of why you keep he's a legacy, son of former corner Richard McNutt, and nephew of a legend at Ohio State safety Mike Doss. All right. Georgia has become a major player in this. Oregon has crept in. Dan Lanning and his Nike dollars. We know he's a good coach, and we know Oregon's a good football school and Nike facility, et cetera, et cetera. They're creeping in, both without close proximity to Ohio. Last I had heard, Berm seems to lean with a McNutt out of the class, and he's kind of like the gold standard of who people look to, or one of the standards on recruiting. Now, I would also imagine he'd say, as of today, as of right now, there's a long way to go. So I'm not saying he's a Debbie Downer and he's absolutely out. Probably, I would imagine you recruiting us probably just say it's his gut feeling based off of current information. Now, that begs the question, is this permanent? We don't know. The landscape of recruiting wildly changes day to day. But is this permanent where Trey McNutt decides, you know what? I'm going to end the Ohio State legacy. I'm not going to do the Uncle Mike's thing. I'm not going to do the classic East Cleveland thing and just go down 71 South. Chris Spielman said his dad told him, you're going to go down 71 South. You're going to go enroll at Ohio State. That's what you're going to do. Is he going to be his own man? Is he going to go to UGA? Or are we just saying Ohio State's going to be outworked by these other schools? I don't think it's so much that. I think this age is different. One, Ohio is, I think, more on the map with as talent goes. As Georgia, it seemed like, that 2018-19 timeframe when they really started blowing up in their recruiting class, it seemed like they always had good football recruits. But it seemed like, man, Georgia is the Big Four, California, Texas, Florida, and now Georgia is just right there with them. When the football, it seems like the college football kind of breeds eyeballs and ears there. Now, Ohio State, great classic program, top 10 state, certainly in talent. Ohio State, powerhouse in football. They've made a lot of noise this offseason, right? They've made a lot of noise. Transfer portal, Phillip Downs, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like there's more eyeballs on Ohio State or Ohio talent in general, I should say. Couple that with it's different ball game now. Now, back then I think it was the dirty schools flash the most money, but it's hush hush. And, recruiting was still a Southern thing in the South. But you still go to hotbeds like California. Midwest recruiting is Midwest recruiting, that kind of thing. And now I think it's, hey, if they're good, I can throw legal money at them. And if we need them worse than we need another player, or worse than the school, their home school, like Ohio State needs them, we might be able to throw more dollars at them. That is now seriously on the list. And I think you have to look at this, right? UGA right now, 8 safeties on the roster, right? Only one of them is an upperclassman. Seniors, one junior. The rest are freshmen, sophomores. No safeties committed from what I saw in the class right now as of me recording this. Oregon, 9 safeties on the roster, but hold on. 7 of them are upperclassmen, right? Only one freshman, one sophomore. People are on the way out. Two of those, or if you look at those 7 upperclassmen, 2 of them are 3 stars and one of them's a no star. You might just have guys hanging around. Are some of those going to transfer out? You could look at Oregon. Hey, Oregon to get me paid, maybe more than Ohio State, and I might have more of a chance to start. It's more business-like, and these are young kids. If someone's beating on your door and saying, "Hey, I'm really interested," money's on the line, you got to listen to them, even if your uncle's Mike Doss, even if your dad's Richard McNutt, right? That is my thoughts. Not so much that Ohio State's giving up, that it's a business and these kids get to shop around and maybe they want to be their own men. I just don't think it's like, Zach Smith, to his credit, he used to say, look, Kerry Combs is known as a great recruiter. However, if you look at some of the great wins he had, you look at Glenville guys, you look at Cleveland guys, you look at other in-state guys, you look at Maron Lattimore. His take was basically, he was never not going to Ohio State. And I think that's a little bit over of a kid knowing, like, in 9th grade, almost Buckeye, I'm going, if I get an offer, I'm going. I want to go to Ohio State. Now, they may all want to go, or a lot of them want to go, but once you get there, it becomes much more of a business. I think it's less tradition, more business nowadays. But I want to know what you guys think. Like this video. If we need Trey McNutt, give this video a like. I want to see how many of you guys out there are like, nah, full stop, get him in the class. You'll drive him down yourself to Columbus and enroll him in class. Next up, Bo Jackson, 4-star, 5th-ranked running back in America, another Cleveland, Ohio guy. Also, East Cleveland. A little bit familiar with his school, a little bit. Villa Angela-St. I say I have a deeper relationship with the school. Passed it up business-wise. Not a football powerhouse. I don't think you would say they're 9-4 last year. Limit them from having a lot of talent, though, or at least some talent. Bo Jackson, again, not the Bo Jackson. He's way too old. Probably still very athletic. But Bo Jackson, not in America. Burr, on the flip side here, as of recording this, I'm told, kind of believes he's still in this class. Now, maybe some ground is being lost to Alabama and Georgia, 2 classic powerhouse schools in the South. They got good dollars, or legal and illegal dollars, to spend, allegedly, if we know our history, right? And look, they're Georgia, you can argue, is RBU. Alabama, you can argue, is RBU. So, and you look at the rosters, I think Bama's got 1 3-star in recruiting class, and I think Georgia has none. Maybe I have that backwards, but it's pretty thin on the recruiting classes right now. So you could see how a Bo Jackson would look around, and again, money, money, money. And when look, if you're a high school football player, I don't think it's so much that Ohio State doesn't care and they're just getting the pants beat off of them. If you're a high school football player, it's not the days of, look, I'm AJ Hawk, I'm going to Ohio State. It's not those days anymore. It's not, Boom Heron again. These other guys from Ohio that just it's not Brax Miller. I'm going to Ohio State. It's it's up in the air when Georgia and Alabama knocks on your door. You have an obligation, I think, to listen. Especially Ohio State's got a brand new a running backs coach. There's some reasonable apprehension, I am sure. Now, Ohio State does want 3 running backs in the class. I don't see anybody on the roster as of me recording this, or as on the commitment roster, I should say, in the 2025 class, but they do want to get 3. Jordan Davis, they're heavy on. Maybe some leaning. I think Bill Kurelic has him in the class. Crystal Ball at Ohio State, number 7 running back in the country. Again, a California guy. So I kind of want to know, like, you seem like, well, why haven't we dug our claws in him? We got Jordan Davis, pulled him across the country, maybe, but why is this guy trending away? Again, it's ebbs and flows, it's recruiting, and I don't think the winning strategy anymore is to say no. If I like Jordan more, but Bo is in Ohio, I have to just get him. I just don't think it's regional anymore. I would like to get him. Don't get me wrong. I believe what you believe. You're all going to say, oh, we need people that understand the rival against that team up north and they're from Ohio and they get it. I'm not going to fight you on that. I'm just saying Curtis Samuel isn't from Ohio. Justin Fields isn't from Ohio. JT Barrett. You know what I mean? I think Marvin Harrison Jr. heard he's pretty good at football. Would you want to pass on him if it meant getting, a really good guy that you don't like quite as much from Ohio? Ohio is notorious to getting picked a lot of good 3-stars that go to Kentucky and go to Michigan State and go to, Wisconsin. Your good success stories, your Danny Davis or your Iowa's out there. So I don't think this is so much a case that we just don't care. I think it's a case to win football games. You cannot go regionally heavy alone. Keep the best in Ohio, keep the best in the country on the roster. That's got to be. Now, if you really, really want the guy, if you really, really want the guy and he's an in-state guy, you can make a strong argument you cannot lose that one. But if Bama or Georgia, Ohio State needs better offensive line play, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to know your thoughts. Do we have these guys? And I also got to know this, guys. Is it a business? Is the pageantry dead? Are the days dead of, Troy Smith, Ted Ginn? Ohio guys, we're from Cleveland. We're going to Ohio State. Is that dead because it's a business now? Let me know. Is tradition dead in college football? Give me that dollar sign in the comments if it's just a big business. If it's sadly, and I warned this might happen with NIL. Other people warned too. Is it dead? Give me that dollar sign. Or if pageantry is still alive, type that big old OH in the comments. If you think the tradition, the pageantry still lives on, we just got to snake around a few issues. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining the channel. News cycle is a little slow. Official visits coming in 2 weeks. We're going to have a lot to talk about, so come back, subscribe to the channel if you'd like. We'd love to have you, and we're going to have all kinds of coverage from now to kickoff in the season and beyond. As always, goodbye, God bless, and go Bucks.